And with that, we will now send it to our first segment, Overrated, Underrated.
Welcome to our first segment, Overrated, Underrated. In this segment, we will decide whether these things in Star Wars are overrated, underrated, or properly rated. And we can only explain it in about one sentence. Mark, we are going to go ahead and start with you. Your first thing, The Phantom Menace.
I'm gonna say underrated. Cause I feel like it gets a little too much hate. Like I get it, it's not the best Star Wars movie, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it has its moments with Darth Maul. Qui-Gon is a shining moment in that as well. And I honestly like young Obi-Wan as well in it.
All right, I like the explanation. Now, your second thing, overrated, underrated, the First Order. Just as a whole, as a concept, as a whole, everything involved.
Well, knowing because before like all this new stuff would have set out, I don't know what I would have said, but with all this new content coming out and figuring out that the Imperial remnants are basically what leads to the First Order,
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna say slightly underrated because I really do like the idea of the New Republic thinking that the Empire is gone when clearly they're not. They're building up to something bigger, and that is the First Order.
Yeah, I'm actually very excited to see the full-on reason or what pulls it into the First Order.
So am I.
All right, and your final thing here, overrated, underrated, Magna Guards.
Oh, I don't. Oh man, what's like the general like opinion on Magna Guard?
I don't know if there is one.
I'm just gonna say properly rated.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think they're really cool. They fit Grievous really well as personal bodyguards, I guess, and they hold up well in combat as well. I mean, it took Obi-Wan a minute to get rid of some Magna Guards. So
Yeah.
all right, Logan, your first thing, overrated, underrated, the TIE Fighter.
You want me to say overrated.
Maybe, do I?
But I'm not. I'm gonna say properly rated, because I think is Andor really changed my opinion on it a little bit because of the scene on Aldhani where it's like flying in and it's extremely loud. Like it's actually terrifying. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna say properly rated because I think it does what it's supposed to.
And I like that answer. I really like the noise that it makes too. That's my favorite part about it.
Can you do an impression of it?
There's no way. I don't think I can physically do that.
Yeah, okay. I just had to ask.
Your second thing, overrated, underrated, the D Squad arc from season 5 in the Clone Wars.
Underrated. I mean, that's instantly I'm saying underrated. It's just I've always thought it was underrated. It's the one Clone Wars arc before season 7, because now the Martez sister arc is what everyone picks on. It was the arc that everyone picked on for being bad. It's underrated.
I like that answer. And your third and final thing, overrated, underrated, Chewbacca.
Man. God, I can't. I can't be this insufferable. I'm properly rated. Dude, there's so many things where I just feel like I could make a case for it being overrated, but I had to say properly rated.
Yeah.
Because it's not my I don't actually think he's overrated, but I feel like you can make a case. Properly rated, great character. Sticking with it.
Yeah, he's been through a lot, so.
Okay, Mark. Next up, overrated, underrated, Jyn Erso.
I want to say slightly underrated again. I think her character arc and like development in Rogue One, I thought was really good because she didn't really have like any hope. She was just kind of out for herself. She didn't want to be a part of the Rebel Alliance. Like she wanted nothing to do with that. But over time, you can kind of see like her bond with her father, and it kind
Mm-hmm.
of like I think it kind of changed the way that she thought and realized that there is hope out there to get the plans of the Death Star and defeat the Empire once and for all, because the Empire kind of took everything away from her at a very young age. So I'll say underrated.
All right, Mark, your next thing, overrated, underrated, the Mon Calamari Star Cruisers. So the capital ships of the Rebels and Resistance.
I might, man, because I do kind of like them. I do kind of like them.
Mm-hmm.
I like the captain's chair in it in the actual ship, like, or that the admiral where Akbar sits, and I'm gonna say I'll just say properly rated, I guess. Because I do think it's like I do kind of like the design of it. Weirdly enough, I'm not like obviously I prefer like the Venator, but
Yeah.
um I don't think it's a bad capital ship. I feel like it definitely has like it looks like it has a little bit more maneuverability on it, I guess you can say. And I really do like the like where Akbar sits and like the captain's chair and like that whole like part of the ship. I really do like that as well.
Man, I would have said overrated instantly. Okay, and on to your final thing, Mark. Overrated, underrated, the Jedi as a whole.
Man, this one's really deep. I might have to say slightly overrated. Honestly, it's it's just kind of like I don't know if I want to say the way that they think or like their ideology, but I kind of want to say that as well because like for example, they didn't take Qui-Gon seriously when he encountered Darth Maul. Like they didn't take him seriously at all until he was already gone, and I felt like Qui-Gon, the Jedi should have been more like Qui-Gon
Mm-hmm.
instead of what they were, and they kind of caused their own demise when you think about it, because they could have stopped the Sith pretty early, but they didn't. So I gotta say overrated.
I fully agree with you. That's the answer I wanted to hear. And that
Yep.
also does not mean that the Sith are underrated. That just means the
No.
Jedi are slightly overrated. They just have
Yeah.
too many problems that
Yes.
than they
That's
should.
yeah. They got too many flaws. So all right, Logan. Overrated, underrated. Jawas.
Jawas.
Yep.
Oh man. I I I'll give it to them. I'll give them underrated. I'll give it to them.
That's what I was
They're
hoping for.
goofy. They're just the trolls of the Star Wars universe. They go out. If you leave any sort of electronic out unattended, they are going to steal it, and that is just I don't know. It's the perfect amount of comedy within Star Wars. I'll say
I love
underrated.
that answer. That's exactly what I was looking for. Your second thing, overrated, underrated, the Inquisitor lightsabers.
Um, I feel like they're pretty hated. Actually, no, I don't know if they're hated
It's
because
just a certain aspect of them is
yeah,
overrated.
I think people mainly just hate the flying with them.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So I'm still gonna say overrated though. I don't like the spinning aspect of it. I think that is kind of corny. Is it like smart? Yes. Like I'm not gonna deny that.
Yeah, but we're talking strictly on design here.
Yeah, I think it's kind of cheesy. So I'm gonna say overrated.
All right, Logan. Your third and final thing, the Galactic Empire.
I mean, I'm gonna say overrated because anyone that like actually thinks the Empire is good or has done good things or was good for the galaxy is a loser. Like, it's just that's just how it is. Like, I'm sorry. You gotta like read a book or something. Figure out figure out literally what they're based off of and what that ideology is, and you'll realize it's not good. So I'm gonna say overrated. Not that like an abundance of people like the Empire, but if anyone likes the Empire, they're overrated. So
there are people out there, so
yeah. So yeah, overrated for sure. That will go ahead and conclude our first segment of Overrated, Underrated. Hopefully you guys do not get too mad at us for our opinions here on Star Wars. We love doing this segment. We bring it back a lot. We are going to give it a bit of a break. I believe so, but
we need to.
Hey, we'll bring it back for sure. We always love doing this one. So with that, we will go ahead and send you guys back to the studio.